Okay, there we go. Welcome back, everybody, to Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dede, and we've done a Monday morning mail segment. We did a how to start with some collage background elements that we're going to do art cards on. And but before we get started, I'm going to do a giveaway. So let me get my iPad here. Don't do anything yet, guys. Don't do anything yet. I'm going to find my random.org. Okay. Hang on. Right. So when you see me type in the word, when you see me type in the word go, when I type it in, then put in a number between 1 and 100, one number only. The person closest without going over, I'm going to let you pick one. We already gave away two of these earlier. I'll let you pick out one of these stamps that mom sent. My mom sent a Happy Mail stamps. So we got these three left, so you'll get to pick which one you want. Okay? You're ready to herd. One number only, closest without going over, between 1 and 100. Then we'll do a random.org and see who came the closest. Yes, yes, Miss Allie. Giving away one of those stamp sets that mom sent in this morning. Okay. Everybody put in a number. Oh, there's Orla putting in numbers for Carrie and Orla. Yeah. Orla's visiting Carrie on her way to the uh, retreat in Maryland. And so she stopped by Carrie's, and so they're hanging out together today. So I'll give everybody plenty of time, and then we'll go on and pick a number in a minute. I'll put it up to the camera when we get ready because it just flashes out. Got my Sherry card. This little card just sucks the light back for me. Look at that. It's like magic. So yeah, my mom was nice enough, and she was here earlier, but she couldn't get it in chat. I think she was on her iPad. So, but she sent in all these stamp sets. She subscribes to those UK magazines, the stamping ones and the card making ones, and I send her all these free stamps. She doesn't use them, so she sends them occasionally here for us to give away. And she sent a new batch. Um, it goes by the first number, the first person that put the number in. Don't put in more than one number, guys, please. One number only. Okay, so I don't see any more numbers rolling by, so I'm going to put in stop. Okay, now let's generate a number. Here we go. Ready? It's random.org, 1 to 100. We're going to generate a new number. 74. 74. I know, Sherry, we know. Everybody has time to put in a number. Okay. I make sure everybody has time. Yeah, it's a Sherry card, Terry, and it pulls the light. It's the hot pink, I think, that does it. But it just sucks the light back in my camera. I mean, it doesn't flash it out. Okay, so 1 to 100, the number was 74. Is that what I said, 74? I think that's what I said. Yeah, 74. So everybody can look and see who was the closest without going over. I don't know why that would happen, little Phantom. That shouldn't have anything to do with your chat. Okay, I'm going to wait for Sherry, Terry, Vicky, or whoever's here. I'll give them a minute. Indiana Liz. Okay, so Indiana Liz, email me your address. And somebody can put I had to put .com because it won't let me put it in. So Indiana Liz, now wait a minute, she has to pick which one she wants. Wait for it. So Indiana Liz, which one do you want? Do you want 3? It's the little friendship stamp set. That's number 3, because these were already numbered from the last one. Number 2, which is a background stamp. It's a background stamp with thank you. Who was the first one? Who was the first one? Who was the first one that had 74? Was it Liz? Or do you want the with love little bunnies? Which one, Liz? So I know there's a lag, so I'll wait. You can have, that's number 5, number 2, or number 3. Yeah, Liz had 74 right on the nose. Okay. Number 2. Okay, so you want this background one. This one, Liz? Okay. So make sure you mail me your address, okay? All right. Hey, Nico. All righty. Thanks, guys. So we got 2 more over there. All right. So let's see. So now let's go back to looking at our art cards. So if you were here for the other segment, which was picking things for art cards, picking out using collage cards that you've already made, leftover journal pages. For example, this was a full page that we cut up, okay? And we cut them up into 4x6 to make something out of. This one goes this way. So these are a few of the ones that we cut up. But you don't have to have them this much on them either. For instance, we had some scraped painty ones, just some papers that had leftover scraped paint on. And so these are just on paper. Now, if you're going to use just bits of paper left over, then you want to glue these on some cardstock. Let me get some. I already have some cut here. You'll want to use some cardstock. It doesn't have to be real thick cardstock. If you want it thicker, glue two of them together. If you want, or just buy thicker cardstock, whichever, whatever you have or works for you. This is actually a little thicker. Let me go ahead and cut some of these now to make it easier for us today. So my art cards are 3x4. They're 3x4 or 4x6. So postcard size is 4x6 or 3x4. So I'm just going to take a couple here and just cut me out a couple more small ones. Have my big cutter right here. So I have some bases to glue the paper ones. Now, if they're already cardstock, if you're using parts of cardstock like these were already on cardstock, these are leftover journal pages. If you're going to use something like that, then it's all ready. Okay, Pam, thanks for being here for so long. Thank you. Sleep well. Okay. So if you're going to use these thin ones, like just off of a journal page that's thin, like we want to use these, then you're going to want to glue them down, okay? Glue them to a piece of cardstock. Where's those ones I just cut? Here we go. that's just one. Hang on. I don't know what I do with them. I just cut them up and I threw them in a pile, and now I can't find them again. There we go. Alrighty. So, to glue just a solid piece of paper to the card, I'll just use my Eileen's Tacky, just like I glue anything, just flat on, flat down. If I'm going to collage, when I collage my magazine, calendar, whatever bits of collage, I'll use my golden matte medium. So we're gonna be doing both. So I'm just going to put some glue on the backs, and you really need a. It's best to use like an old phone book so that you can just open it at a random page and then smear your glue right off the edge. So you get it edge to edge. And then you just close the phone book and those pages are glued together. All right, so I'm going to put that on here. They're already both cut down to 3 by 4. If you missed the first segment, well, by the time you see this recording, they'll both be up. Okay, so I didn't trim that one exactly, so let me just get a scissors here. Get in a hurry, and let me just trim a little edge right there. There we go. Okay. If y'all have any questions, put them in caps. You love Monday mornings? Oh, good. I like doing Monday mornings because I know a lot of people don't like Monday mornings. But how can you not like Monday mornings when we're all hanging out, chatting and arting? I mean, you know, right? All right, so here's one. Now it's on a card. And again, when I finish the cards, I always varnish them and I paint the backs. Where'd I put them? Where did I put them? So, like, here's one that is done. Then I varnish the backs. I sign them. And, I mean, I don't varnish the back. I paint the backs black, and I varnish them. So that's what they look like when they're done, whether it's 3 by 4 or 4 by 6. Here's another one. I mean, I just showed these in the last segment, but just so you can kind of get an idea. Something was $3.99. I missed something. The small one's 3. It was like Miko's enabling, but I missed. I missed what she was enabling. I step away and I saw $3.99. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to do that with another one here. Let's do it with this one. I won't do it every single one. Let's do it with this one maybe. This one's already on cardstock, so I don't need to put any backing on that. But this is a piece of paper, right? So, again, it's just whatever bit you decide to cut out. If you watch part 1, you already know what I'm talking about, cutting this stuff up. So I won't really discuss that again here because in part 1 we talked about it. Okay, so I'm just going to lay that out. And Eileen's Tacky just rolls off your fingers. That's why I like it. Charting. Okay, I don't know what you're charting. All right. Let me turn my chair sideways because I don't get any air here with my fan. Okay, so again, you know, you want to make sure you really glue it down well. All right, so I'm going to move him out of the way. Move him out of the way. I did put a new paper. So we're ready to make a big mess on the new paper. Tim Holtz has Dilutions, the small one. Oh, the small Dilutions, $3.99. Oh, wow. Awesome. Yeah, I use the large ones. Chatting and arting. Oh, charting is chatting and arting. Ah, gotcha, Donna. Okay, got it. All right, so let me move these to the side here. My little Sherry focus card. And then I've got some different things going on here. So we're going to want to use this one. I'm going to use this one. These are some of the ones that we got ready last hour. The last hour. Oh, I wanted to use this one too. Okay, so let's go ahead and get my phone book back here. It's just a way for you to go all the way and off the edges with the glue and not have to worry about getting glue on anything. That's why it's cool to use the foam books for that. All right, so let's glue this one down as a horizontal. So we picked these out at the beginning. I'll see, I didn't take my time to glue that. Let me trim it now. I got a little ahead of myself. There we go. Take your time. Don't have to rush like we do on a stream. Okay, and I'll zoom in, guys, when we get to the point where we're adding collage bits. Okay, so we had that, and then some of these other ones that we had already cut out, like this one. These are leftover painty pages, leftover art journal pages that you didn't like or you didn't know what to do with or what. So you're going to use them as your bases. Like we already cut this little bit out. I think I wanted it on this one. Do I like it on that one? Or did I like it on this one? We talked about it on the last show. Kind of like it on this one better. So we already kind of started some of this. So we'll call this part 2 because it is continuation of picking the art cards. Then this was another one here. That was an art journal page, leftover bits. So we got 2 out of this one. Got a 4x6 and a 3x4, and we like this little bit of, I say we because, you know, we're here talking about it. You like the forest, hi Dee, hey Crocker too. So I like the Stonehenge, but it's a little more than I want on this page. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear off part of Stonehenge so that we have just enough there on that card, but we got a little bit of Stonehenge left for another card. So might put that on here. Don't know yet. And the fans behind me going to be blowing everything around. So, and we paint this stuff in. Y'all see me do art cards a gazillion times. It's the same process. It's the same process I do on, you know, in my art journal, on the art cards. It's the same exact thing. Except sometimes, most of the time, I start with just, when you see me do them and lay them out, I lay out a whole bunch of just plain white cards. But today we're going to start with some that are already, you know, painted because they're leftover journal pages. Hang on, guys, I got to take a sip of coffee. So again, here's some other little bits of leftover journal pages. And then these are ATC size. Now I don't do really ATCs that much anymore because I do the 3x4 size. Here's the difference between a 3x4 and a ATC. ATCs are 2.5 by 3.5. My art cards are 3x4. So I really don't do much with them, but these were like little bits left over after cutting things like this. So, you know, just I'll keep them and do something with them. All right, so again, let me just kind of flip through some of the different ones. These are all different little bits. Like I like the colors in that. These are all just leftover bits of scraped paint or leftover, what do you call it, jelly plating, stencils, you know, getting rid of excess paint off of stencils. That's what all these are. Little bits of collage might be left over on them, like this one. So what I'm doing, I'm just picking out a few here to work with. Okay, those are the 3x4 ones. And then I got a couple of 4x6 ones here. So if you have any questions and making me rethink using your jelly print, yes, use your jelly prints. Look, that could be a jelly print. Cut it up. And I showed in part 1 how you take a little viewfinder and decide where on your page something you might want to keep and cut it down to that size. So here's a bunch more. These are just leftover either jelly plated prints or scraped paint or leftover stenciling. I like this one too. So again, if you want to put it on a card, I think this is the only one that's paper. This is on cardstock, The rest of these are already on cardstock. This one's paper. So you really want to at least have it on a, 60, 90 pound weight paper. So let me go ahead and glue this. Oh, not that one. This one. Let's glue this one down real quick. And you always want to smooth out your glue. Don't leave it in rolls and bumps because that'll show through. They'll show through, and so you really want to smooth it out all the way to the edge. Okay. I'll glue that on. Hey, Vicky. Coming and going. Okay, and remember, you turn things over. You might want it this way, you might want it that way, you might want it this way, and we'll see how many we can use. I've got more here than I can do in an hour or two-parter. Yeah, the stamps were from my mom. The giveaway stamps that Mom sent them. All right, so now let's see what I want to do here. Shift some things around. I need a rubber band. They're going to get away from me if I don't rubber band them, especially with the fan blowing behind me. Okay, so we'll just smooth these out. All right, so let's go ahead and start. We'll do let's do some 4x6 ones. Let's do this one, this one, this one. Let's do these 4. And I'm going to zoom in so we can see, you can see better closer up. Where's my Sherry card? Get my Sherry card. Alrighty. So there we go. We're going to work on these. Did you hear when I picked the actor? No, I hadn't kept up with any of the Hollywood stuff, Sarah. Yeah. She's saying that they picked the actor to play the young Han Solo. Yeah. No, didn't hear. Didn't hear. A busy weekend. And then this morning I just got up and started getting ready for stream. Okay, so I'm going to move some of these little ones out of the way that we'll work on after the fact. These. Okay, this one's still on paper, so let's take that one out. These 2. So I got plenty for the another. If I do some small ones. All right, so again, earlier, let me get down here on the floor. Teresa Dreamer sent me a bunch of collage fodder here from different books and magazines. So I showed that in the Happy Mail this morning. And I've already started cutting things out. Like the Stonehenge, these rocks. And so what I'm going to do is we'll work on these 4 at first. They're going to be fun. The bottom of them remind me. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. When you're doing these art cards, you're going to see things different than what I'm going to see. All right, but that's what's fun about doing these kind of things, is because everybody sees something different. All right, do I like it that way? Do I want it this? Kind of like it the other. Okay, I kind of like that though too. Well, I'll go with it this way. And so all I've got picked out so far is this little bit and this little bit of Stonehenge. That's all I've got so far. All right, now I've got watch magazines and watch bits. I'm going to just randomly pick out some watches because y'all know I like to put time. I like the element of time in my pieces. Time, space, water, clouds, all kinds of things. I don't put a lot of people. I'll put a bird or something like that. And once in a while I'll put a person because people just like me to put people. People like people. Okay. All right, so I got a couple watch parts here. And I'm going to partially cut and partially tear. Remember, any time that you can tear your collage pieces, they'll blend better when you go to paint. But if you want a rounded edge or whatever. Okay. I just like the element of time in my pieces. But if you're a gardener, if you like home interior, if you like people, Packer Dye likes to put people in her collages. So it's just what you like, right? Yeah, do what you like. Because if you try to do something like if I tried to always do people in mine, I wouldn't be happy. I don't mind throwing a person in mine every now and then, but I don't love putting people in mine. So I wouldn't enjoy it. You have to enjoy it, right? So here's another bit of a watch. I know it looks like some mechanicals, which I love anything mechanical too. So, so I just play around with the elements until I come up with something that I like. If y'all have any questions, put them in caps, but I think y'all seen me do all this a whole bunch of times. It's not like you've never seen me, select things to do in collaging or whatever. Then maybe we'll do a color book page after this. I am still, by the way, I still am working on, I haven't worked on it off stream. Our deer, our Bennett Klein deer picture. We're still good with that. We're still working on it. All right, so I'm wondering, I'm kind of liking this, but I think I want it right on top of that. So let me cut this down just a little. I think I want it right on top of that bit of Stonehenge. See how it made an arch right over the arches? See those arches right there? See how that just fits just perfectly right there. Hey, Galena, anybody else I missed? I think I even want to make it a little bit smaller. I want it a little bit over to the edge. I want a little over there. Maybe we'll put a little bit down here. Maybe a little bit Stonehenge-y bit down there. Something like that. Oh, good, TMT. Keep us posted. Someone's getting a house. All right, so now let me come on over here, making room, moving glues and scissors and cards. So now what I want to do, let me go ahead and move up just a little. I know it's going to probably be almost off camera. But now I want to go through some more of these pages here. Like I really like this. All right, so for instance, I talked about this earlier. All right, so don't necessarily look at this as for what it is. Now this could almost be its own card right there, base. That could almost be its own card 4x6 right there as a base. I think I want to keep that as a 4x6. And also it's purple. I talked about picking things based on color to work in. So I'm just going to kind of like a little bit of building here. I think I want a little bit of a building. I have no idea. I'm not really paying attention to what it is. I'm going to turn it upside down. So here's the building. But look how it's dark up there. I can turn it this way. Okay. Don't know if I want the whole thing in there because I like that crumbly bit. But I think I want a little bit more something in there. I'm going to tear that down. because we're going to paint this stuff in. It's going to be painted in. Okay. And a little bit of that bit that I tore off, I think I went over here. So I'm just adding more, like, it just reminds me of crumbling buildings, so I'm going to add some buildings. Okay. Some windows and whatnot here. Oops. Let's see. Tear out a little bit more. And again, if you tear, it's going to be easier to paint this stuff in later. So you kind of get the drift. You smell what I'm stepping in, Vern? That's how my daughter would say. Smell what I'm stepping in? Almost could go that way. No, let me just go this way. Got a couple little window thingies left here. I think I'll carry those down here. Could be a part of a just move things around, play with things. Like, look at the colors of that. Look, it's almost exact colors. Hang on, there's a hubster. Hello. Yes, I am. What's up?
45, it was on.
Okay. Sorry, you just went speakerphone in my ear. Okay. So it was good? You're welcome, honey. Bye. I made an awesome lunch for him to take to work, and he already ate it. He was just thanking me. Okay. Something like this. Someone said something looks like a puffin. I know. You get your imagination, starts going. That's the idea, right? Your imagination will start to go. I'm just kind of playing here, guys. It's like a little puzzle that you see in your mind. All right. Alrighty, so that's that one. I'm liking that one. That one. It's just, I'm gonna just flip through some pages here and see what I feel like using. Ooh, look at this blue rock. It's kind of a gray blue rock. That little bit right there. Let's see what we're gonna go with this. And also let it go off the edge. If you see something that it's going to go off the edge, just leave that. You can cut that off after you glue things down. Okay, it'll be fine. You'll see. It's going to be something like that. The fan's kind of blowing it until I glue it down. I love to watch making of Dede's imaginary world. Thanks, Silver. You're not slacking on it. I've seen yours. You do. You're no slacker in the imagination department. Okay, moving on. Just flipping through magazines, calendars, whatever you like. So I love this whole thing right there. But I think we got enough going on there. Got enough going on that one too. So we'll keep that. And then when I find something that just strikes me as working, I don't overthink it. I just tear it out and play with it a little bit and not like don't overthink it, because then you'll go, oh no, that may work, it may not work. Look at this. Look at all this. Right here. There's just that whole thing. There's like 20, well not 20, 4 to 8 cards right there. Just saying. Just saying. See, now, right now, I'm kind of looking at this kind of yellow ochre color and the blue, and I'm trying to kind of see what draws my eye to those colors more than anything right now. I'm just kind of looking for things that are going to work with these colors, because I got kind of a blue and ochre one, some ochre and sienna ones, and then a blue and gray one. I'm just taking my time, which, can be good or not. Because sometimes we can get too much, takes too much time. And I'm trying to keep these, somewhere around an hour. Uh-oh, I got to watch that fan behind me. The fan on my back feels good, but blowing around. Okay, do I want some of this mountain? Do I want it upside down? I think I kind of might want that. No, because I don't want to get rid of my blue. I want to keep the blue. Let's see what I can do here. Annie's messaging me something. So kind of like this. And then this. And then that. Okay, so I think I'm going to start gluing now. I do need something else on here, though. This and that looks pretty good. This one still needs something. I don't know what yet, but it does need something. Ooh, some cathedral bits. I don't know. Might clash. Those worlds might collide. Might collide my Stonehenge world. Maybe a little bit of there's just a tiny bit of a waterfall right there. Although we can paint in our own waterfall. But that little bit right there is kind of speaking to me. That is speaking to me. We're going to go with that. Okay, so now let me turn my chair so I don't let everything blow away. Move some of this out of the way. These are awesome bits. I don't know if Teresa Dreamer is still here, but those are some awesome collage bits you sent. All right, so now all right, so I use golden matte medium, but I put it in a soap bottle. I put it in a bottle like this, and then you can squeeze out. Try to keep it clean under the lid so it doesn't clog up. Hopefully we're not clogged up, but we'll see. I'm getting the scissors. Make sure I didn't clog it up. And then you can, and this is dry. It's my paint palette, but that's all dry, so it's not gonna matter. So I'm gonna squeeze out. I'm gonna squeeze out some matte medium, and let me get a brush. Hang on. I keep my glue brushes in water. Okay, my glue brushes in water. They're crusty and rusty, but they're just for glue only. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put down a Hang on, guys. I must be on a group text or something. Hang on. Hang on. Annie sent something. She must have made a video. Okay, I'll get back with her. I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put down. I'm going to go ahead and slide these out of the way and put down a piece of wax paper. And that's just so I don't glue my cards to my table. Right? All right, then I need a little bit of a, I need a card. I need a card scraper. Let me find one here. A gift card or an Apple card or some kind of a card to scrape paint with. Okay. So y'all still with me? When I heard that noise, I thought my cat. All right, so I'm going to take one at a time here. And I am going to, now you got to kind of, let me back up. When you're using a white card, and you're putting your collage stuff, you can have everything sitting on one card, get it glued, and just kind of transfer it over, okay? When you have it all kind of laid out where you want it on a painted card, you just got to either think backwards, or you can take it and just kind of set it over to the side, sort of where it's going to be on your card, okay? So you can kind of remember. I can kind of remember because I've done so many, and it doesn't ever have to be exact. But just so you know, you have to think about working backwards. Still with me? Okay. All right. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to put a nice thick, a nice even coat over the whole thing. The reason that the painting process, when we get to the painting part, the reason that it works to smear and move paint around is because of the matte medium. I can wipe paint completely away because it's got the matte medium. I know everybody asks me, well, can you use Mod Podge? Can you use liquid you can try whatever you want. I use golden matte medium. I never have a problem with my, things sticking, getting gooey, getting, the humidity reactivate. I never have any problem with my golden matte medium. So, that being said, and then you put it on the back. Put it on the back of the piece too. I know it sounds like, well, you've already got it coated really well. Why do I need to put more on the back? Trust me, you do, if you don't want wrinkles. Okay, so I'll just put it on the back and on the front. Okay, if there's anything hanging over, we'll cut that off here in a little bit. Okay. Okay, then what I do is, I think I want that tilted just, and while it's still wet, unless it's a real thin fashion magazine, sometimes those don't lift. But you can kind of lift magazine and calendar pages while they're wet, if you're quick. Then I just take a card and just scrape it all down, get out any bubbles or anything. Okay, like that. And there we go. There's our base, our initial. Let me get a baby wipe. And you will use a lot of baby wipes. So use a lot of baby wipes with this process, or the way I do it anyway. So I try to keep as much of the matte medium off my hands. It is hard to get off, although if you use your craft scrubby, it comes off a lot easier. Otherwise, yeah, it's hard on your nails too. It's hard on your fingernail polish, I should say. All right, so there we go. So there's one. I'm just going to kind of set that aside. Again, if there's something hanging off when it's dry, after we dry it, we'll trim it down. So I'm going to move that one. All right, so now this one, I'm just going to kind of slide everything right off like that. I can kind of see where it is. All right. And so I'm going to get the whole card. Hope y'all can see. I'm trying to stay in frame there. Now I know a couple of things are going to tuck behind, so I'm not going to shove that down yet. I want to be able to kind of lift it and put it exactly where I want it, something like that. And just kind of play around with it. Fashion magazines are the worst for trying to lift back up. If the paper is so thin. I think I want this one down here. Okay, now that I've got it kind of laid out, I'm just going to go over the whole thing and take my card and just mash it all out, smooth it all out. Oops. Don't scrape it right off the piece. Okay, and again, we'll trim off the edges after we hit it with the heat gun. And we're going to blend all this in with paint. So just chill a minute. Chill a minute. Got to do it one stage at a time. This starts getting crusty. Just, kind of move it over. All right, next one. I think we're going to have to go into another segment, it looks like. Because we're already almost, well, we got about 30 more minutes. We'll see how far we get. We'll see how far we get. Okay. I'm just I'm not smashing it down yet because I want to kind of decide where I want everything. Do you want that? Yeah, I kind of do want that there. Let me see if I have room for my clock up here at the top. Yeah, barely. I really need to move this down just actually, let me go ahead and just cut that down because I don't want my clock going off the top of the page. There we go. All right, and then this little bit of Stonehenge I want right down here. The corner. All right. Smooth out the wrinkles. I'm mashing down, but I'm mashing, look, I'm kind of bending the card. I'm not really mashing along the edge, because if you're not careful, if you mash along the edge, you're going to scrape off your collage bits, whereas if you do it like on the flat, then you're mashing it down, but you're not like digging in to the page, Welcome back, Vicky. Hey, CB. All right, so there's that one. Let's move that to the side. One more. Let's just kind of move a clean spot right here. All right, and this last one. Again, I'll just kind of lay it out a little bit kind of where I want it. I think I want this. I want that one up there. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. fold this over so we can use the back side of it. All right, let me get my heat gun. I'm going to dry all these real quick. Okay, I think they're pretty dry. Now just trim off any overhang. You can just turn them over and see where you got anything hanging over. And remember, these are leftover journal pages. And I paint the backs black, so it doesn't matter what's on the back. If you're reusing, this is we're recycling old art journal pages if you're just joining us. Where most times we just start with a white page. This is part 2. So if you missed part 1 of how we selected the different things, the different backgrounds, then that's on part 1. Okay, so let's move some of this over to the side. All right, so now we can start painting. Let me move my iPad out of the way. Don't want to be splashing paint on that. Any questions or anything, guys? Let me take a sip of coffee. So we have 4 little worlds to work on. I'll show them to you one by one. So this is just the collage, and we started with like with paint on the background, something like this. Leftover art journal pages. All right, where's my Sherry card? Let's refocus our lighting. Come on, come back to Mama. It wants to stay. There you go. Oh well, it's flashed out a little bit, but okay. So now we're going to add our paint. So let me get another palette. Now this is a different one. It's dry, but it's not the one with the matte medium all over it. But speaking of, let me throw my glue brush back in the water. All right. So now I'm going to decide. Let me move some of these other projects that we showed earlier out of the way. And so I get to my paint. Any questions or anything, guys? We good? I mean, I think everybody knows the process. Everybody loves seeing it, but it's the same process. All right, so I'm going to get some colors that, I want. Of course, I always need black and white. So I'm going to get out a little black, a little white. And for my blues, of course, I like my Blue Harbor, my blue gray. It's called Blue Harbor. I like that color. And I think we're going to go with, do I need a Prussian? No, I think I'm going to need a primary blue. Probably, maybe a little primary blue. I'm basing the colors I pick on the collage elements. Okay. So that's, if you want to know how I pick my colors for the most part, not that you can't add other colors in there, but for the most part, I pick my colors based on what I've got going on. All right, I'm going to need a sienna, or well, let's go with persimmon is a good one. There's persimmon, there's burnt orange. See how they're so similar. You could go with either one. We'll go with that. We'll go with burnt orange. Don't, and I'm putting out probably more than I need. You only need a, but these cards aren't that big. And then I'm going to go with the burnt sienna. Okay, y'all know I love these colors. I always use them. I need to mix it up more, but I just love them. And then a yellow ochre, which is, I got spicy mustard. There's one that's really called yellow ochre. Yes, there's different ones. Antique gold. This one is spicy mustard. I got a couple other ones here. What are the other ones? Cocoa. I think there's a couple of different ones that are yellow ochre-ish, right? So we'll go with antique gold. For the yellow ochre color. Okay, we'll start with those colors. Alrighty. Okay, now I can turn my chair sideways because I've glued everything down. Nothing's going to blow away. All right. So now we start painting. All right, so I'll have my wax paper here handy. Move this out of the way. Let's move my pencils out of the way. Don't need that. Gotta clear some space right there. Get my sherry card. It just pulls in the light. Okay. Chit chat. What happened, Sarah? Just looked up to see some kind of order she had went awry. Oh, yeah, CB, if Eileen's watching, telling her hi. I know. We talked to her. Well, we assumed she was there earlier and said hi to her, too. Yeah. And again, if y'all want to send any cards, send them to me, or if you're in Canada, send them to Jean, and we'll forward them on to Eileen. Okay, I missed something going on, so I'll keep moving on. All right, so I think I'll start with this one. These two have blue in them. And I just kind of look, and sometimes I'll use my finger, and sometimes I will get a brush over here. Let me get my glue out of the way. I did buy some more new brushes over the weekend, and believe it or not, I really do go through the brushes. So I bought this set, all these new white ones you see. I've not used those yet. It's a Michaels. I think it's called Craft Smart, but they got the plastic handle, and I think they were $9.99 for how many? 10, 9 or 10 brushes, all different sizes. And I used a 50% off coupon, so I got 9 or 10 new brushes for $5. So I'm just gonna, and my favorite brushes, if I had to pick a favorite, it's an angle brush. My favorite is an angle brush because you can use it flat, you can make a line, and you can make a dot. You can just do so much with them. Someone spoofed Sarah's. Oh no, on Crocs, Terry? Oh, good grief. Now my water, okay, now I hate to say it, but I am going to have to go change my water because the last time I used it, I was using black paint. So hang on, guys, I do have to change my water real quick. So give me 1 minute. Okay. Yeah, my paint water has double side to it. Whoa, I'm drifting. Has a double side to it, but both sides had black paint in it. So, I mean, so I couldn't use it at all. Alrighty, here we go. We're back with you with some more hot coffee. Alrighty. So we'll start with this one. So just kind of look at it, kind of decide where I want my world to be. Sometimes I'll start with just my finger. Don't be afraid to paint over anything. Just because something's there doesn't mean you have to leave it there. You're the boss of your art card. Just like you're the boss of your color book. All right. Pick up a little blue. I went to IKEA this weekend. Oh, good. Yeah, I know you can buy all kinds of kids' watercolors. I mean, there's a lot of great things you can get in kids sections. For sure. For sure. I'll move over here so you can kind of see where I'm going with it. Okay, now here again, let me stress the reason you can wipe paint off is because of the matte medium. Now, you know, a lot of times if you catch your paint when it's wet, you can wipe it off. You can wipe it off, you know, fairly easily. But because it's coated with matte medium, I can do this and take a baby wipe and completely wipe it right off. You can't do that with non-coated, you know, like if your pages are not, if you don't have matte medium on them. Same thing for the blendy with the finger. You can do that because of the matte medium. The paint just kind of glides over. Okay, so I'm going to come down here with this blue. Kind of get in there. And just a little bit of that Stonehenge showing, but I want more, so I'll go in there with the baby wipe and I can just wipe it back. Now I might want some more mountainy looking kind of thing here, so I'll just take my finger and kind of do a kind of a scruffy look here, just to kind of make it more mountainous looking. You just got to kind of play, but you can't be afraid to get in there. Don't be afraid. Fear not the art card. But I want this to look more scruffy, like more mountainous, because there's that little door, the little door right there into the mountain of that little Stonehenge, right? It's going into the mountain. Kind of laying. This is going to be water in here. Water right here. Okay, so I'm going to just let this one rest a minute and set that aside and come over here. This is just the initial coat. Thanks, Silver. All right, so here, let's see what do I want to do. I think I'll take some black and blue, kind of mix them both on my finger here, and let's just kind of see what we can do. Let's go see what we can do. You can do a lot, guys, with, your finger and getting textures that it just doesn't happen with the brush. When you get in here with your finger to make texture, it just you just try it. Trust me, try it. Pick up a card and do this, and say, I'm just going to play with this. I'm going to mess this card up on purpose, so you're not afraid. And just move paint around with your finger, and you'll see how you can get so much cool textures that just don't happen as easily. I mean, not saying you can't achieve it, but there's just things you can do with your fingers. Working along making graffiti mixed media background for one of the girls you drew. There you go. I think somebody's tweeting me, but I don't answer tweets when I'm streaming, so I'll catch those after the show. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of get that in there, but I want some color in there too, so I think I'm going to go some white and some blue, and I'm just going to, maybe there'll be some water down here, we'll see. And I just kind of, if I get too much paint on one, I'll just switch fingers. But just try it sometime. Try to paint with your fingers. Even Jean will paint with her fingers now that she's not afraid to touch paint. So you can start to see some different landscaped, different planes of what. Yeah, Terry looks like some sauce. Oh, Rosworth. Oh, I missed something, Jean. Yeah, you make up you'll see your own little worlds here. You'll see your own worlds. All right, but look, now let me show you. Now let's just say I wanted to get, that blue blended kind of behind the tree. Look, I can go right over it. But then I can, because it's got the matte medium, I can wipe it back. See? Oh, I don't want it completely wiped back. I just want it a little bit. But see what I'm saying? You can get in there. Now, I am going to paint some more branches in there. So you can do all kinds of things because of the matte medium. Now, here's a good example of a cut edge. I cut that edge right there. And so can you see that line? That's from having a cut edge. See that line right there? It's harder to blend in a cut edge than a torn one. So I'm just going to take my baby wipe and kind of blend that out so that I lose that line. But I can still see it if I tilt it. So that's why I say it's better to tear your edges if at all possible. Now, of course, you want a rounded edge like this. You're cutting that. But when you cut edges, if you have a line, it's going to show up under the paint. Okay, so I'm going to go back up here. I need a little bit of gray. Let's just pick up a little bit of zinc. I have zinc, graphite. There's all different shades of, different. There's this one I got. This one is slate gray. That's slate gray too. Graphite. All right, so I'm just going to pick up a little gray and white on my finger, and I'm going to get some cloud action going on here. Again, if you get it someplace you don't want it, or if you get too much, just take your baby wipe and wipe it back or blend it back. Now, I don't want to lose all this here. I want to keep some of that. So I'm going to go in here with some more slate and just kind of get rid of the edges. I'm going to have a little world going on back here. Okay. And just take my baby wipe and just smooth it out. And if you want to get some little details in there, you can get in there with the brush. You know, I mean, there's some places your fingers just can't reach. You get a little brush. Ugh. Just get in there and smooth it out. Now I'm going to have other things going on here too. I'm going to feather that out just a little. Liking this? Oh, good. Thanks, Vicky. All right, so I'm going to set this one aside. Now, this is just, just the initial base coating of getting some paint on there, right? We go back in there with the details, the clouds, the stars, the water, the fog, the mist, all that stuff. Did you fall back asleep, Jean? Should we sing the kitty song? Although this morning before I hit record, I showed everybody that video. Well, I put a link so everybody could go look at it. Where the cat, instead of saying meow, meow, it's going, hey, hey, hey. If y'all want to know what I'm talking about, just go on YouTube and put in cat that says hey instead of meow. And you'll get a 30-second one and a minute one. I could watch that all day. You hear people making fun of people that like to watch cat videos. When you see that one, you know why. Hey, you know why. Okay, now I'm coming over here. I don't particularly like those little stars right there. They're okay, but I don't really like those stars that are left over from the journal page, so I'm going to get rid of those. Maybe I'll just a little hint of them there, but I don't really want those bright stars there, so. But yeah, if y'all have not seen that video, oh my gosh, it's hilarious. You watched it, so funny, I know. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of blue. I'm gonna put a little bit of blue in this one too. It's hilarious, I know. And your baby wipes, you always, if you're going to be wiping things away, you want to get a clean spot because otherwise you're just going to be moving paint around. You won't be removing it. You'll just be moving it. So you got to kind of, watch where you're picking up things with the baby wipe. Okay, let me get a small brush here. Now let me just get in here with some sienna. And I'll probably get in here and blend it in with my fingers too. I'm really just getting rid of the white edges. See the white edges of the torn paper like here? Just going over it and then going with your finger and it just gets rid of the white edge. Okay. Anyway, I thought that was awesome. I want it to still look crumbly, but I don't want any white edges. Okay, so I'm going to go in here with the yellow ochre. I'm just going to go right over all those edges just so you can see. Okay, and then you can just kind of feather it out just to get rid of the white edges. Then you can start blending things in. Hey, I can't stop. Make me stop. I can't stop. And then he doesn't just go, hey. Then he goes, hey. He does all different ones. Bye, Flint. Okay, so there you can see we got a little start of a crumbly building. Maybe this side needs a little bit more crumble. Maybe this side needs more crumble. Oh, gee. to just play around with it, mess around with, whatever. Ominous laugh. Ominous laugh. Oh. Okay, I'm going to leave this one now. Set it aside. See, look, I hardly even used any of this paint. That's why you need a desk journal so that you can scrape all this in there. You need to save that video on your computer so you'll. Yes, I know. Well, I saved it too, Vicki. I did save it. All right. This one's got a little bit of. Let's put a little bit of olive green out. We'll go with the avocado. Hauser green dark or medium, whatever it's called. But I want to. There's just a little bit of green there, and I'm liking that, so I'm going to go ahead and go with that down here. I'll put in a little bit more orange too. Let's just maybe just kind of drag that down like that. Like there's some hints of moss. Some like hints of moss in here. It's old. It's an old world. Very old world. Very, very, very old world. Just getting rid of any of the little white and bits that I don't want. Although I like that little bit of white there, but I think I'm going to go with some yellow ochre in there or something just to give it too much. It's too bright. See, that looks like people to me. I mean, it's little bits of the building, but it could almost be little people. But it'd be a little too big. I think I'll make them bigger, make them look like openings. See, look at that cave. So let's go in here with a little bit more yellow ochre and a little. I'm gonna have to get in there with the brush because my finger's a little big to get around that. So you can get a lot of detail in these too. You don't have to, just swipe. You can get in there and play with tiny little things. So I'm going to have different other things going on here too. All right, let's see what I want to do up here in the sky. I think I want a little bit more yellow. Oops. Too much paint on my finger. Let's just kind of get that with some baby wipe. Just a little bit of yellow in the background. Whoops, got some black on there. That's all right. We'll wipe that off. Because everything's coated with matte medium, you can move things around so easily. Almost want something else there. Let's see. Let me go with a nice white here. Put a glow around it after it dries. All right, so what time is it? All right, okay, I'm going to have to make this another part, guys, or we won't get any detail. So let me go ahead and stop this. This will be part 2. We're going to go into part 3, but I need to, so that they upload. So let me go ahead and stop this one, and I'll be right back.